To present our last award of the evening, let's welcome to the stage our 2015 Dinner Chair and Albert Schweitzer Award recipient, the Executive Vice President at Hilco Global, Mr. Jack Butler.
So with 4 young children in intermediate and middle school, my focus and energy tends to be very much in the present alongside my spouse of 24 years. Our final honoree of this evening, Steve Klinsky, shares a similar energy and focus. Marie and he celebrated their 20th anniversary last month, and they too have 4 school-aged children. So in the middle of this here and now frame of mind, I'm somewhat struck by the fact that Steve and I met and became good friends more than 40 years ago at a public high school outside of Detroit, Michigan. We were good friends, we respected each other, we got along, we learned a fair amount from each other. And like many high school friends, we pursued our separate paths after graduation from our public high school outside of Detroit. Our paths have taken us to different places along the way, but we found ways to touch each other's lives a few times at least during those separate journeys. You have to understand that Steve was then and is now the kind of guy who makes a lasting impression. In somewhat typical Steve fashion, he managed to compress a 4-year undergraduate degree at the University of Michigan into about 2 years, and then went on to earn degrees from both the Harvard Business and Law schools. From there, instead of the usual job sequences that most of us go through and most recent graduates take, Steve pretty much directly moved to co-founding the leveraged buyout group at Goldman Sachs, where he helped execute over $3 billion worth of pioneering transactions for Goldman and its clients in the 1980s. Steve went on to join Forsman Little & Co., hoped to oversee their private equity and debt partnerships totaling over $10 billion in capital, and becoming the most senior partner of that firm outside of the family itself for a majority of the 1990s. About 16 years ago, Steve founded New Mountain Capital, a growth capital firm that today oversees more than $15 billion in assets, and which has added, and I think this is really the key, added or created more than 20,000 jobs at its portfolio companies, net of any job losses. But that part of the story only tells you a little bit about his extraordinary business acumen. What's kept my attention, as well as my admiration and respect, is that is who Steve is as a person and what he does to make a real difference in the lives of others. His commitment to pay it forward is in remarkable alignment with HOBY's core values and its mission. At HOBY, we seek to inspire and develop our global community of youth to a life dedicated to leadership, service, and innovation. We teach young people from all walks of life not what to think, but how to think, creatively, critically, and compassionately. We focus on improving critical thinking skills, enhancing leadership skills, developing goal-setting skills, realizing the importance of leadership, and being actively involved in their communities. If you take a look at Steve's and Maureen's philanthropy, it's included the founding and leadership of after-school programs in New York's most disadvantaged neighborhoods, which enriches the lives of more than 500 children every school day plus summers and holidays, and has become a team charity for organizations like the New York Mets. And by the way, good programs get replicated also in Miami by the Miami Heat. The New York State's first ever charter school in Harlem, and several other charter schools, including the first such schools in Long Island and Westchester. The Great Oaks Foundation, an innovative new charter school model which is in partnership with NYU, the education school there, that awards master's degrees to rising young educators as they're paid to work as teachers. The Modern States Education Alliance, this time with Harvard and MIT, which is working to create a full catalog of top quality freshman college courses free and online to ensure a path of educational access for all. And if you're not doing all those things, why not build some medical clinics in Central Africa in partnership with the International Rescue Committee? These just name a few of the things that Steve and Maureen have done. More than half a century ago, Albert Schweitzer challenged Hugh O'Brien by asking what Hugh was going to do with his experience of meeting Dr. Schweitzer in Africa, and HOBY was born. I think Dr. Schweitzer somehow would have been delighted and proud to have known Steve Klinsky and have followed his contributions to others. I know that all of us at HOBY are. Steve, my friend, it's a great honor to invite you now to join the ranks of global leaders who've been recognized by the Albert Schweitzer Leadership Award. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Jack. Jack was a friend and a real leader all the way back to high school, so it's great to have him as dinner chair. Very happy to be here tonight with my wife and my friends and colleagues and with all of you. You know, what I would say is when I think about charitable work, there was a metaphor I read a long time ago that sticks with me, which is that God put all of his light into a jar, and then the jar broke, and the light splintered and it fell into billions of pieces. And the idea of the metaphor was that there's a piece of that light buried in every person and every aspect of day-to-day life, and the goal is to bring that light back out. And I particularly commend HOBY because, as I understand the mission, they're bringing the light out in two ways. One, they work with these terrific high schoolers and bring the light out in them, and then those high schoolers grow up and bring the light out in many, many other people. So very happy to be an honoree, greatly appreciative, and thank you all very, very much.